Check, baby, check. Check 1, 2.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
No, I don't have the thing on yet. There's just weird shit going on with Rumble here again.
I can hear myself on the. I think they can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. You know, your mic is on now. Here, let me turn it off for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to us, we'll be with you in just a moment.
Just one of them
check,
days.
Check, baby, check 1, 2. Pedro will be with you shortly.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? It is a great day. Tom is producing in the background, and we are out here having fun. Tom has to take care of some personal business, and he is handling it like he's a rock star. I'm out here today holding down the fort. We are going to be going over some dope stuff today. I'm kind of excited about it. We have Fed Day kicking off, and it's going to see some cool stuff happening with it. I think we're going to see some movements happening in the market here in probably in about 30 minutes where they're going to start telegraphing what direction they want to push it to. Remember, I'm always thinking opposite. If they're dropping it, I'm going to expect it to go up. If they're going to push it up, I'm going to expect a drop. So it's really interesting. Again, there's huge amount of bets on this Fed rate situation here. They just that people think they're going to definitely lower the rates, and we're going to see the market kind of drop. So or excuse me, lower the rates, and we'll see the markets go up with it. But part of me almost wonders that we had a huge push up over the week. So this is why I'm just anticipating it, right? Like, I mean, I guess not. It gapped up, the market gapped up from 66.19 all the way up to 66.74 here, and we kind of just been chilling in this range right here. So I don't know, it's kind of a mixed bag of cheeses here. I know that just sounded totally weird, but it stinks like old cheese here. They're just kind of chilling here, but it's always fun waiting for these type of movements in the market. We have a good time with it. Also, let's check out BTC. If anybody has any questions, please ask questions. If you would like any information about anything I'm talking about, this is an interactive show. So all I ask is that you guys just make a comment, ask a question, and I would love to be able to kind of answer it from a trading standpoint. I'm looking at the update right now as we speak, and I don't see myself on our show here, Tom. Is this me? Let me see here real quick. Can you guys see? Oh, there I am. There we are. There we are. Good to have with us today. Alrighty. So if you guys could do us a quick favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That always helps us out immensely. Also, if you could do us a quick little favor as well, and just repost this from Rumble if you can. That always helps us out also immensely. Okay, so let's check out right now Bitcoin right off the top of the hour here. I'm trying to sound like Tom here, but you guys can see here BTC is saw a bit of a sell-off in the evening here. So that again is one of those things that I just think Bitcoin's going to go up because they sold it off here in the beginning, and or at the in the first part of the day. We're right here down at the 8 period moving average. So there's a lot of people here that are basically short which gives the institutions fodder for them to push it up. I think we could see if this thing continue. If we are down here, I would expect it to go down in the beginning of the first part of the announcement. So maybe come down a little and then see it go up. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting here, what we're going to see. There is one spot right here that I kind of would expect if we're going to see a huge sell off in a sense. I think this area right here, I'm going to do this right here because we've already created this area, that 114 area, 114.69 area to the 114.62 area here. If the market sells off hard, this is where I think we're going, where the liquidity is sitting right here. And if we see it go even further, we'd probably see it drop to right here. And let me pull this up here real quick. All right, here we go. So kind of like where my areas are at, and on my top target, I've got two areas here. Right above us, there is a liquidity pool about right here, which is sitting at that 117.579 area. Sitting right here. And then we have a zone also up at this level here, which is going to be that 118, 119 area. So we're sitting right here. We could go down to here, or we could see it go up, come down a little, and then up to here, pull back, and potentially come and touch this area right here. So we're kind of waiting and seeing what the market's going to be doing. But ultimately, BTC is kind of chilling, waiting for that the Fed decision coming out at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, or as Tom says, Eastern Time, not Eastern Standard Time. There's a difference. Here we go. Okay, so BTC is acting, or not BTC, Ethereum though is acting really unique in this aspect that I'm seeing it come down here. And I'm really kind of expecting us to kind of get to that 43.05 area to that 42.96 area as a pullback area, and to kind of take part in that as it comes down again. I think that's where we could see something where it kind of comes like down to here at that 43.05 area. And let me see if I probably need to do that here real quick. Here we go. Yeah, I always forget to do that. Here we are. You guys can see here from my you should be able to see, yeah, fully. Okay, perfect. So seeing it come down to this level here, which is going to be roughly around these price points, which is going to be that 43.05 to the 42.69 area. If we come down here, I think we'll probably see it, maybe some boom, kind of topsy-turvy here, and then see it come back up to touch these highs. That's what I'm expecting to see here. Again, there's so many people buying right now, and watching the futures on the CME just really kick in is really it's really interesting just watching it. I mean, because I'm just seeing the volume step in and really starting to get going on the CME for the ETH contract, and or for the ETH product, and it's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. So and it trades like the S&P 500. So that's the other part. Like when you look at the similarities, it very much trades like the S&P 500 on the CME contract. The ticks are the same pretty much. So I think they're getting ready for ETH kind of to be the primary one, at least on the CME, because they're just pushing the product. Give me 1 second. I need to get some water here real quick. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead. So we had some really interesting news this week, which I thought, or yesterday. China bans companies from purchasing the NVIDIA chips, which I thought was really interesting, because one of those moments that you would think that China wants those chips. So if she is sitting there going like, "No, we ain't gonna deal with that," he's not the type to sit there and I mean, yes, he does posture, but like you're not gonna ban people. He's not, he's not gonna sit there and do that. So I think they did come up with something that might be even better than what we currently have right now. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what play he plays with this. I mean, this is without dropping bombs, this is a war. And it's kind of crazy when I think about what's actually happening here. So I want to highlight that. And I actually picked that up on Watcher Guru. So you can go check out the article there. Michael Saylor seen in Washington wearing a orange tie to help advance strategies, a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, which I thought was interesting. He's kind of a goofball sometimes. At least not his personality wise, but sometimes his stuff that he does. I'm like, that's interesting. So yeah. Let's go into a couple of the news things that are going on here real quick. Give me 1 second. Where are you at? So the 16th, here we go. Forces again ground. Trump administration approved the first arms assistance to Ukraine fund by allies. President Trump filed a lawsuit against the New York Times for $15 billion over defamation. Unrealized losses on investment security for U.S. banks reaches $395.3 billion in the second quarter. This is 6 times higher than the peak of the 2028 financial crisis. Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of this stuff already. We know that a lot of the banks are hurting. This is why the Fed is trying to keep up the interest rate, just simply because they can charge more money for what they're doing, but it's hurting the bank. So this is the whole entire conundrum that we've actually been dealing with. I don't think that they really have America's best interest at mind. It's finally separated, and the common man is hurting because of inflation, but the rich are getting richer based off of inflation because they have assets. Most Americans do not have assets. This is why we keep telling them to get into crypto, because crypto is the fastest asset mechanism in the world. In addition to that, we talk about the debt, and as the debt keeps going higher and our GDP keeps basically being stagnant at these levels here, this is a bad ratio here. We want this to change here, like these to flip. That would be dope. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward here. Will the Fed dropping the rate? If they do, going to change the outlook of manufacturing, starting businesses, making things happen. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that works here. Let's go ahead now and go right here. The other thing that I thought was interesting was that Indian rupee, as Tom said yesterday, rupee has fallen to an all-time low against the US dollar, which is really interesting. The fact that the US dollar is dropping so much, it like we showed yesterday, that means that they're trying to drop their stuff. And is this based off of the lack of demand for trade with India? And so it's going to be really interesting to see what correlates there. Here we go. United States looks to set up $5 billion fund to invest in rare earth minerals. So I think that was really interesting that it was only $5 billion and not necessarily like 50 billion, because the amount of infrastructure we need to actually set that up needs to be a lot more. So it's going to be really interesting to see what correlates there. But honestly, in America, I don't think that's a bad investment. If you're a business person and you're like, you know what business am I going to start that would maybe take off in America? Rare earth metals? Yep, that might work out well. Like, like we're already scrambling to figure out a way to get more rare earth metals for a lot of the chips and the things that we need for that. So it's really interesting to sit there and think, oh, should we create something like that here in America? Yes, that should be something that we need to do. Like, if you're thinking about a business, think about getting into that business. If you're in college and you're like, what would be a good business model? Rare earth metal business. Get into that. That's something that America needs. Bank of Canada cuts key interest rates to 2.5. So it could be an indication literally of what is happening with the US. Hopefully we see something of that nature get going and kind of see things populate even faster. But let's go ahead. Here we go. And then some crypto news coming in over the evening. Let's go over here real quick. We basically saw Robert Kiyosaki, Trump Pro Crypto 401. Oh, that's what it was. I thought it was, Robert Kiyosaki backed Trump's Pro Crypto 401k order with I'm not going to put on my glasses. Dismissing ETF as for losers, despite 292 million flowing into Bitcoin. Here's another one. I thought this was really interesting. CME will launch Solana and XRP futures options on October 13th. Which I thought was really interesting, right? Because October, when you think about October 13th, right? It's like Friday the 13th type of thing in October, but it's not Friday the 13th, but it's still, I just thought it was interesting. They picked that day to do it. I love to go in and say, why did you guys pick that day? That's an interesting day. Ooh, man, my stomach is starting to rumble. Hey, Tom, are you there, buddy? Not. All right, let's check to see how many people are watching. Oh, great. We have quite a few people. Awesome. That's awesome. Guys, we're glad to have every one of you. Appreciate every one of you. If you could guys do us a quick favor, hit that like and subscribe button. That would be great. Bio Protocol raises $6.9 million and launches AI native decentralized science platform for biotech funding and drug discovery. So I thought that was really interesting that they're trying to get that going. Again, that is a bio protocol. That is, and they're trying to raise some money to do some stuff when it comes to medicine creation using AI and a decentralized system. And so they're trying to do it right now in America. We've seen a lot of stuff. This is why Trump was talking about taking away funding away from colleges. Now, I don't like that. And the initiative to do that, basically saying stay away from the woke mind. But he's just, I don't know, it's just difficult, right? This circumstance is always a little difficult to talk about. But I like the private raising for science. I like it if it's decentralized and allowing people to be able to really develop on the blockchain. They're trying to set up a whole entire system there. So I think that was really interesting from that. I'm going to step away for just about 5 minutes. So we're going to go to the little system here. Tom, if you're there, let me know. Alrighty. Well, guys, I'll be back in a second. Give me one moment and forgive me for it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pedro will be back with the show. I'm behind the scenes just producing today while I deal with some other things going on here in real life. But I'm still able to at least make sure you guys have a good show. But obviously, we've got to wait for Pedro. He'll be back in just a moment, so hang tight. good day, everybody. Once again, we're waiting for Pedro to come back here. I'm behind the scenes producing the event, getting some other things done that I have to get done today. So hang tight, and we'll be back with the Bitcoin, the XRP, and Fed Day today with Jerome Powell. Good day.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to step away for a few minutes. I just had to handle some business real quick, and I had to. So sorry about that. I'm here right now, and we can start to move again. So, like I was saying, some of the news that we're talking about here right now is it's kind of fun because I mean it's totally pro crypto, so it's kind of cool. 260 million yield basis plan. That's nothing new. And let's go over this last little bit right here. Come on. Boom. And it was this. Where was it? The European proceeds spending free trade benefits for Israel. No, that's not the one. Sorry. Where's it at? Dang it, I'm looking for it right here. Over 100 feet above Air Force veterans. All right, somehow I lost this website. Either way, we can move forward here. Now let's check out real quick BTC, what's actually happening with it, and we can move forward from there. So right now we're still kind of in that same range here, just going sideways in this market, and they're just kind of playing, waiting for the Fed meeting here, which is going to be in about an hour. So the fact that we're going down here since the beginning, like I said, really kind of makes me think that we're going to go up. And Bitcoin is, that's why I'm looking more at these levels here at that 113 or kind of like that 114 area to that 113.4 area here, and waiting to see if it's going to shoot up or shoot down here. The areas here onto the upside is that 17.57 area to that 118.7 area. It's about 1,000 range here. So shoot back up. So if we see this thing come up and go back up, it would be one of those movements that I would expect to see. And we can play this here. I'm going to try to play this here with you guys so you can see how I would actually play this movement. Let's go ahead here real quick. Check out BNB. Actually, I was going to go over BNB yesterday during Technical Tuesday, but I just kind of forgot, really. Within my notes, I just overlooked it. I was going to have my notes right here. So one of the ones that I'm looking at here for BNB, our beans here, is that it's strong. Yesterday, we finished off really, really strong. And because of it, it kind of opened things up. Let me go ahead and point this out here real quick. This level coming back down is, you can see, we talked about yesterday, kind of seeing if we can get down to that 108 area, 101 area. But once it touched this on Monday, this thing, it was crazy. It went from 101 almost to, well, the peak of today was 160. So we've talked about us hitting that $1,000 mark here by the end of the week. I think we very much could see a 1,000 BNB. And it's crazy to think that this thing started at 50 cents, right? Like when you think about like its early days, right? It's crazy. So what is up with my stomach? Forgive me, people. Sorry about that. This is a live show, so you get live performances. DYOR, that's it right here for you guys. All right, so it's good to have. We still got 11 people watching. Shout out, much love to every one of you guys. Thank you so much. Where's Pedro? Yeah, Mr. Herlihy, I had to step away for just about 4 or 5 minutes to kind of handle some business, and then I had to come back. So sorry about that. Let me go ahead and wait and get a little drink here real quick. As I spill all over my jacket or all over my hoodie. I don't know if anybody's a hoodie person. I am a complete hoodie person. I love hoodies. Now, I also love getting dressed up in, suit and tie and walking around feeling all fresh, right? Like a fat guy in a little coat type of thing. But at the same time, I also love a good hoodie, right? A good hoodie, good pair of shorts, hanging out by the beach. No, I don't think there's anything better. Hanging on the beach, playing a guitar, and just chilling around a bonfire, man. And right now, it's coming fall time up here where I live. The colors are changing, the trees, and I love just hanging on the beach. Just love it. They doing little beach bonfires and just kind of hanging out. Anyhow, all that to say is BNB is looking beastly. I mean, look at this. If you look at Bitcoin, it does not look like BNB. If you look at ETH, it does not look. I mean, ETH looks stronger than Bitcoin, but I mean, BNB, look at this. I mean, just strong as a bull. I'm like, wait. What? We're going to sell off here? Nah, rejected. Wait, we're going to sell off even further? Nah, rejected. Pushed up, right? Like, get off of me. That ain't none. Boom, push up, right? Like, that's what that is. That almost looks like it's like another language there. But you got me here. It refuses to take off any type of sell-off, and it just wants to run. So this is where I think like that Franklin Templeton merger, I do think there's something here, or this, I wouldn't say merger, that's the wrong word to use, but supporting up BNB and the MB and the Binance ecosystem, I there's something to it. I'm telling you, something big. Oh man. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I've got it. Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm actually on the show. What's up? You good? Oh, you're welcome. Bye. All right, sorry about that. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry about that. Quick emergency call. Somebody reached out to me. You know, there's certain people in your life, when they call you, you pick up, right? Like regardless of the circumstance. So it's one of those moments where, in case there's an emergency, you pick up, right? Because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's it. So I was picking up. So I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead here real quick and you guys can check out some stuff here. So if we see this market just keep getting stronger here, I mean, look, and this is the part that I think is so interesting, is look at the volume just pick up. I mean, just solid. And look at this starting to increase here, right? As it's going higher, we're seeing volume step in even higher. I mean, that's not, you know, that's not normal. At least in crypto at times, right? We just don't see that. So this movement here is indicative of when BNB was at that 600 mark, and we saw it get all the way up to that 800 mark, right? You can see that movement between here, right? Kind of went down and then went right up. And so it's one of those things that I'm like, this is a good sign for BNB. So if any of our guys are BNB people here, there you go, man. I mean, it's looking hot to trot. It is sexy AB. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Boom, boom. Or is it? It's not AB. What is it? Sexy A. I forget what it is. Whatever. I'm just saying. Now let's go ahead and check out a couple other ones here that I've been checking out. AVAX. We forgot to really go over AVAX yesterday because one of our guys was wanting us to talk about it. And I remembered that yesterday as we got off the show. It's like, oh shoot, we never went over AVAX fully. So AVAX is actually looking strong in the, come on. If you look at the long term here, you can see here that we've been actually over the last 2 months had over average of volume coming in. And so right now we're working through a lot of these moving averages on the higher time frames. You've got the 50 period, you got the 20 period moving average. And I always say we see a ping pong, right? You can see here, this is kind of what it does, right? It comes in, it tests it, right? And then it splits it and comes back, finds support and pushes up. And we can kind of see the same type of thing that's going to happen here. We'll do that again, boom. And then we'll see it kind of go up, and then it'll ping pong off of the 50 right here and the 20. I'll do this type of thing, and then boom, it's get out of my way. Hits this, comes back down, boom, and then shoot, get out of my way. I want to go all the way to the top over here. Let's go. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of like what I'm expecting here on AVAX. Now, the biggest thing about AVAX is that AVAX has a huge community again. Like we were talking about Cosmo yesterday. AVAX is another one that just, I mean, they've been around. They're in the whole entire kind of gaming situation in industry, and really they just have a strong community there. And so that's why I'm kind of still paying attention to AVAX, because AVAX is still one of those chains that really just is always trying to improve. So I'm kind of waiting to see here fully what it does. If we close above the 20 period moving average on that monthly, that is a good sign, because that means that we're going to close above that 200 period on the weekly and on the daily. It means that it's a clear shot, right? So we just gotta, it's gotta go. It's gotta push through. You can do it. All right, AVAX, we're all voting for, or at least for our bags, we're voting for AVAX, right? We want to see it pop like it's hot. Boom, boom. All right. Now let's check out Litecoin. Litecoin I thought was really interesting because Litecoin hit our area right here of supply again. We saw the sell-off come in last month, and so but we closed above the 8-period moving average. And more importantly, when you look at the weekly, right, a lot of the moving averages are below us, so it's wanting to push higher simply because the algorithms are pushing AVAX to want to push higher. I think we're going to see a pullback here on AVAX, and the point that I'm really looking for right now is kind of like if we do see a pullback here, this area right here would be a great liquidity area to pick up. That would be ranging between that 103 for Litecoin to the 103.09. So if we tap below here, right now we're sitting at that 115, but if we tap below here, expect us to push up and then to go higher here. So be looking for that move there. I'm gonna place a nice little pretty demand zone right here, and we'll just do that right there. Forgot, place that right there with a nice little green color there, and place nice little attractive green line. That's funny. I was like, it reminds me of Bob Ross, right? When I say that. And I always wondered, I was like, why do I say the nice little pretty green line or a nice little, and then I was like, and then I was watching this meme on Bob Ross, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where I probably had picked it up. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is. He was the guy who used to, in the 70s, was the artist, and every day he would paint a painting. He'd be like, look at this nice little pretty flower here, and this great strong pelican that flies over the waters. We're gonna draw him right here with this big strong tree. Like, like it was. You're talking. This was wholesome, good TV. I mean, it was just, there was no agenda there. There wasn't trying to be, anything weird. It was just good old. Actually, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Bob Ross. Yes, I thought so. That's wanted to make sure. This guy right here. If he grew up like, if you want to watch a cool little one, if you're in the younger generation and you don't know who he is, this is a nice little area to watch something from. That's pretty cool. Okay. It's really been a while since I've actually done my own show for a while, so I'm always a little rusty on kind of what to say first, right? Your first one or two. I probably should start doing some more just alone ones so I can get back on my game here. And so my vernacular will be on point and my jokes even better. I don't know if that's possible though, because I'm the funniest guy you ever meet. At least I think I am. And that's all that matters, right? No, that's not true. No, that's the one thing I think, like comedy. Yeah, I know you can get better, right? Like I know guys who weren't funny, as comedians, and then 3-4 years later, I watch them again, and they're just hilarious. So you can get better, definitely. On the back end, though, there are just some people who are just naturally funny. I mean, just like facial expressions or the way their mannerisms is just funny. And so I don't know, it's funny. I had somebody literally was talking to me at church, and they were like, you remind me of actually one guy from what was it? What show was it? No, not show. I went into BJ's, and this guy, he's my butcher dude, and he goes, you remind me of the guy who plays Ant-Man. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, just the way your demeanor is. You just always seem like you're happy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much am. And he goes, and then I had another dude at church say, you remind me of the guy who plays Deadpool, which was really funny too. And both guys, I think, are great comedians. I actually love their comedy. They're really good guys. Well, I don't know if they're good guys, but I like their comedy and the way they talk and the way they communicate. Just jovial, fun, loving, cool guys in a sense, right? So yeah, baby, but I can be a bit serious at times too. So I guess that might not be. I try to have heaviness with a bit of levity with it, so that it keeps it light or fairly light. right? With some heavy to it. It's almost like pound cake, right? I don't know if y'all have ever had pound cake, but man, throw a little bit, if you have some pound cake, right? And throw a little bit of maple syrup. And then what I'll do is I'll sprinkle up a little, some frozen like blueberries and raspberries and strawberries on it and top it with a little bit of honey. Mm. Oh my dear Lord. Oh, a little bit of cardamom, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. It's divine. Hey, as I do an Italian thing. All right. So here we go. All right. So let's check out Brett. And we're going to go over some meme coins here because, well, it's Wednesday, whatever day. And we are just having fun. Waiting basically for Fed Jerome Powell to give the rates. And we're going to see this market go exploding one way or another. Boom. It's like but I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go up. I really do because they're dropping it here. So Brett, let's talk about Brett here as meme coin Monday or meme coin whatever day here is. You can see here that we've actually been kind of pumping up here from the 4 cent, and it's about to break that 5 cent mark area here. And then what I think is interesting is it's still playing between this area right here. Now, the Brett community is a large community. They've done a lot of stuff. And so it's one of those moments that I think we're going to see a big pump here coming soon. Now, one of the things I also want to point out is with Brett, you can see this amount of volume here coming in. This isn't anything shabby. I mean, man, that's a lot of volume. And so when you look at the weekly volume, you can definitely see that that is not normal. So if it continues and we start to see this thing play this way, I mean, this thing could get back up to that 7 cents, if not get up to the 10-cent mark area here. So if it gets up to here, I think this is going to get blown through and we'll probably get up to that 14 cents actually by looking at it, because it's already been tested. You can see this test right here was based off the 50 period moving average with the zone. And so by us putting that lower, the lower high here, or excuse me, the higher low here, and this is starting to peak, we didn't even get back down to the liquidity area down in this level. So we just came to the liquidity pool, which was right here. You can see it like clear as day. So this was the area right here, right? This was the liquidity pool where they came in, they pulled the stops right here. I thought they were going to come down to here. Obviously they didn't. They pushed it back up. And then now they're looking for it to continue it higher. So looking at Brett, I'm really expecting us to see that 10 cent level, if not potentially that 14 cents, right? If it breaks this area here. So I think it will most likely break this area here and continue higher into that 14 cent area here. So at the level of, what price is it at right now? The 496 area. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. And I mean, if you're going to take this trade like on the perpetual, again, this is not financial advice, only education and entertainment purposes only. But where I'm looking for is to put my stop right underneath this low here. And then what we're looking to do is that low is that 4.2. We're at 4.9, right? And we want to run it all the way up to that 9 to 10. And then the next level is going to be at that 17 to 14 area here. So that's a nice little one to one ratio there. We can actually put up a nice little 1-to-1 ratio easily. Here we go. Let's do this right here. This is what we're looking for, and we want to capture that. So this is going to be a 5-to-1 ratio there. We're trying to capture this. And it is looking strong from last week's volume. So pay attention to that, guys. That is one of those ones that we could see definitely pick up. And then let's check out Bonk. Bonk is showing a similar situation here, not majorly. I mean, obviously, if you look at the volume, it was above average on the buyer volume compared to the sellers. But you can see here that as it's coming down on that weekly chart, you can see they're putting in demand wicks here. And so those demand wicks are people buying more on the daily, right? You can see it coming down into our area, boom, boom, and now it's pushing up. And we want to see a decrease in seller volume and an increase in buyer volume as it's moving up. And so we're finding support right here on this level here for Bonk. And I don't know when we drew this one, but we should, I mean, it would have been back here, so Bonk must have been all the way up here. I said to wait for it to pull back. You can see here, boom, pushed up. If this thing does take off, let's see how far is it going to go potentially, right? Give me one moment. Here we are, right there. We're gonna go. There we are. All right. You can see something like this. And most likely, it's not going to stop there because it's going to want to go for this liquidity here at that 5. Is that the height? Yeah, it looks like that's the height. So yeah, I would expect it to see it actually go all the way up to this level here. Is what I'm seeing. This is another asymmetrical trade. Looks like a lot of alpha you could potentially get into. So this is where I would say a good area would be to actually get in. Where's the weekly? Yep, perfect. So we came in. It's pulling back. It's testing this area. So this area would actually be a great area to get in on this trade here. This is where you're going to put your stop on right here. And you're looking to capture this all the way up to these levels here. Let's see where it's sitting. So that's a 7-to-1 ratio there. Nice little trade. Good. You can see it's already set up in a way, right? Look at the amount of volume coming in right here. And then in addition to that, this is the area right here that we're seeing things pop, right? So this was actually a cool little thing. So I actually like this here real quick. So right here, look at the amount of volume coming in. This is a pretty substantial amount, right? It's pushing up. As it decreases, we actually see volume decreasing as price is coming down, which means that sellers are not in control. And there's people that are buying. And then last week, we saw a pretty clear sign that buyers are now taking control. They tried to sell it off first part of the week. They push it down, right? And so now that they're pushing it down, I would expect them to come in now. And you can see how volume over last week was up. And then now it's down on the seller volume coming in. So I'm expecting this thing to go up. This one looks pretty hot. I mean, really, like honestly, Bonk looks hot here. Yes, like really hot, like sexy. Definitely. As you got like, I'm looking at it going, this is scrumptious. Scrumptious. Arr. Man, that's a hot. I'm gonna definitely take this trade. On the perps. That looks really nice. Again, this is not financial advice, and this is entertainment, educational purposes only. Please do not misconstrue my comments as advice or to do what you so deem to do. Did that even make sense? Probably didn't. Anyhow, but what I'm just saying is that I like this movement here. It looks really hot. Went crow. Crow actually came down to our area here that I'm kind of waiting for. So picking up a little bit here. But if I can see it come down to that 19 cent, potentially 15 cent area, that's my jam. You know what I'm saying? That's my jam. So we'll see what happens here. Here we go. see if there's any BRICS news here coming out. Chinese robot balance test. Oh yeah, this was I totally thought this was really unique. I don't know if this is real, but I thought it was really unique. Shout out to the robotics team over here. Let's pull this out real quick. I want to do this. This is real interesting. This is the actual robot in China. The robot here. You can see he kicks him. I just thought it was. I mean, look at it. I feel bad for the robot, honestly, man. That's not even cool. But look at it. It's really agile. Yeah, real interesting. We were talking about some of this stuff here. President of Indian Prime Minister, boom. The whole time Iran executes man accused of spying on Israel, which I thought was really interesting. Or spying for Israel, not spying on Israel, but spying for Israel. Justin Kim Jong-un bans the word hamburger in North Korea for being too Western. I wonder what they're going to use. Instead of saying hamburger, are they going to call it meat patty, right? Or I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to say, though. That's for sure. Here we go. Next, let's check out some crypto memes. See if we can actually see anything populating. I see it, I like it, I look at the price, I walk away. That's funny. That was actually pretty funny. Fin watch. Boom. And here we go. CoinDesk. See if we have any other new important news popping up here real quick. Chainlink was also an underperformer, declining 2.6 from Tuesday, which I was saying I just don't see it not being just a major. We'll check out Link again. Yeah, it's already starting to come down. Put this after the test. Yeah, so this was put after. Yeah, I remember this yesterday. Boom. So if we see this come down, again, we've got these two areas for liquidity areas that you could take profit in as it comes down into these levels here. So I like it. Let's do that here real quick. There we are. For link. Oh, this is one that I haven't looked at in a while as well. Loopring. This was the rage, man, when this thing came out. It was. Remember when Loopring came out? It was going to be the next thing, like as big as sliced bread, right? I remember this. Boom. It shot up so fast. It was impressive. Loopring. It literally, I remember it it came like to 2 cents and it shot all the way up to like $3. It was insane. This was so big. I remember this. I was like, are you serious? And I had a friend of mine who actually wrote it all the way up. And then about halfway through, when it came down to like that $2 mark, he sold it. And he was complaining, right, that like he bought it at these low prices. And he instead of being thankful for like a 150x, he was mad that he only got like 100x. I said, bro, what are you talking about, dude? You put in literally a few $100s in this and turned it into $20,000 and $30,000. Like, get out of here. Like, you for reals? And that's actually how we started his crypto bag, right? He, kept it on cash until the bear market came in, really, and then just started deploying it on a lot of these plays. He's made a lot more money because he bought in at the bear market, and he was able to, now I don't know how much it's probably worth. I'm assuming probably $100,000 or $50,000 in crypto for himself, right? And this was on it. This was on exchanges when he started buying. So I think it was really interesting. He was a DeFi dude. Anyways, forgive me. I'm talking a lot here. I gotta get some water. All right, sorry about that. It's amazing when you just start talking, how thirsty you get, and it's like your brain is just like working overtime. So it's just partly the way it works, right? Let's go ahead. I'm also going to go over Arthur Hayes, Maelstrom supports raising 7 million in bio protocol. Now, I wanted to bring this up. This is on multiple crypto news sources here. And a lot of times what I try to do is I try to get ones that don't report the same stuff that other ones do. And this one, again, this one is another one that I like to look at. I look at Crypto World News on Telegram, and it's just a good site. They really do try to do their best to give you like a full scope of things. Like PayPal is supporting crypto transfers now, which I thought was really interesting. Again, they have their own blockchain. They're trying to get everything up and running. And this idea that PayPal could honestly become the interoperability protocol that really kind of binds everything together. And they have the infrastructure. But it's just... sorry about that, guys. Here we are. Someone just called me there for a second. So, but it's just really interesting to see what's actually happening here. I'm looking at right now, MetaPlanet opens Miami, subsidiary to scale BTC revenue transactions, which I thought was really interesting. The other one here, CZ is making a comeback in Binance. That's the other thing we were talking about. If he does, do you understand like the type of... I bet you he is already involved. Like there's just no way he's not. But they're just building up, almost testing the water to see if he can like come back without any hiccups from anybody. The fact that he went to prison for something so minute, because everybody else was doing it, was one of those things that I think they were just trying to make him. I think him snitching and taking down their golden boy, what's his name? The guy who... Dang it, why am I forgetting the guy's name? The guy, curly hair, was a vegetarian, him and his girl, and then they had a whole entire weird drug thing. Sam Bankman-Fried, or Freud. Anyways, SBF, right? He took him down, and then I think because he took him down, the other guys, the Biden administration, had to be like, all right, bro, now we're gonna have to take you, rogue him off, and then send him to jail. But it would be a trip to see if SBF gets out of jail. If Trump kind of pardons that would be a trip. We'll see what happens though. But basically, CZ just tweeted his X bio from X at Binance back to plan Binance. So I thought that was really interesting. This comes right after reports that Binance may soon escape a Department of Justice oversight. The compliance monitored imposed in 2023 as part of a $4.3 billion settlement. U.S. prosecutors are now in talks to scale back or even remove the monitor. So I think it's going to be really interesting. That could be the reason why we're watching BNB really start to take off. I mean, under the leadership of CZ, we saw it just do what it did. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what correlates with that. As of yesterday, a lot XY. Oh, shut up. Let's go, X. YO. OXYO. The reason why I bring this one up is XYO is one of those ones that is definitely pumping. Now let's talk about, since we're on the X, XLM and XRP, because right now it is time to talk about them. Now, what I think is interesting is this with, as we finish with XYO. XYO is one of the kind of the first protocols that was doing data mining for people, where it was a geolocator mapping system. And they really built quite a bit of the geo tracking system all over the United States and a lot of places around the world, but in particular the United States. And so all that data there is it's juicy data. It's the same idea that Pokemon built, right? Or Pokemon Go built, is that they were doing a lot of data mining and going through and recording what areas look like based off of where they had the Pokemon, and people would gladly go. It was gamifying the data mining geo tracking mining area or protocols. And what I thought was interesting behind this is that XYO got in trouble as an actual business and violating the Howey test. So they actually said, you're a company, and they got slapped. They got their hands slapped over by the Biden administration. This is where you actually saw the sell-off come in, because they were really starting to get up and go on during December of last year. And I remember, because I was like, I bought an XYO, and I had actually was data mining for a while, and then I realized I could just buy the coin itself cheaper than paying $40 a month, because I wasn't traveling as much, right? Like, it'd be a different story if I was traveling like 400 or 500 miles, a week, but I wasn't. And so it's just better that I actually buy the coin when it was down at these lower levels here. And like watching potentially, again, XYO might potentially get off of their hand slap. We're watching it just kind of flounder. But what I keep noticing though is every time they have a month, right, area of sellers, right, there's not major. You see, you literally have 2 months of selling, yet there's no real sell off here. And then every time we see a type of buyer month come in, right, which is more volume, we're watching it push up more so than what we would see prior. So I do think there's something going on here. It's one of those things I'm paying attention to for XYO. Now let's talk about XLM. XLM has really been interesting, because XLM with XRP has been one of those movements that, like, everybody, they have such a huge momentum of just, they have a massive, what's the word I want to use? A massive community. And so that massive community definitely buys in and acts as a liquidity push for a lot of institutions. So it's kind of a given that it's going to really kind of take off again here. We're watching right now with XLM. And what I find really interesting is we had 2 months ago, literally some of the biggest volume coming, obviously because of XRP and what was happening there. But more importantly, we should have expected a deeper pullback. That's why I drew these 21 cent area here, right? And we're actually seeing it hold this level of 38 to 34 area here. And we might potentially come back to that 30 cent, but in all reality, I see it really kind of starting to pick up. Now, I want to see more volume come in, definitely, right? Like, we need to see more volume come in. If we see more volume come in and we stay at these levels here, then this thing is going back up. We could see XLM get up to that 79.93 area here. And with that movement, expect to see literally a potential another rally out of XLM. The key point is this: we've got to see more volume come in, and we've got to stay at these levels that we're sitting at right now. If we do, expect it to go up. I would expect it. So that's an initial for that. Let's check out XRP. Boom. XRP again is one of those ones that are similar to XLM, right? obviously. XLM is more of the younger brother to, or the younger sister to XRP. One of those things is when you look at the army, they're both have a big army, but the army for XRP is definitely larger, and you can see it kind of in just online in crypto Twitter. Now you can see here, as of right now, it's losing that volume as we were talking about with XLM, but it's not showing weakness per se. So this is where I'm looking at this going, well, it could put that next leg up here, right? Come next month, if we come down first, I would expect it to push up even further. And again, that next play point here is to go touch that $6 mark, right? We've already tapped the highs here. We've been playing off of these sellers kind of push this market down, but honestly, XRP hitting that $6 mark is really the next level that I'm looking at for the next leg up. And my justification for that is this right here. It's previous leg. Every time we see it, these are the areas it typically wants to jump. So you can go from here, boom, all the way to there. Boom. The height of that 460 area. But I honestly think we could, once that bull run really starts to get up and go, I think a $6 area is more likely to see than just the 450. 450 is a nice little push from the $3 it's sitting at right now, the 303 area. But I see that next leg in coming around to be around $6. So we'll see how it works. We'll see what happens with it, but I just think it's going to finally just let loose and get up and go. So that's about it. What's up? Yeah, go CZ, man. What's up? Connect me. Good to see you, man. I'm glad to have you. Alrighty, so that's about it in a nutshell. Yeah, you guys have any questions, any concerns? Come at me. Ask me questions. I'd love to have you. Oh, come at me, bro. Come at me. This has popped in my head. No, meaning come, let's talk and ask some questions so I can see if I'm wrong or right. Alrighty. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for coming in today. Appreciate every one of you guys. It is hard just to talk. My goodness, I forget sometimes the skill set you have to do a live stream, talking and communicating and thinking at the same time on the top of your feet, or on your feet constantly for a good streaming period. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate every one of you. If you guys have any questions or concerns, just want to say thank you for everything. All right, many blessings, and we will see you guys tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Many blessings. Bye.